So right now I'm just melting the wax. I have a very small scale production at the moment. I was supposed to get an induction cooker, but for some reason it's not working, so I have to replace that. Trying to heat the wax up to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, if it's too high, it will discolor. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna turn down the heat just a little bit. It's getting a little too hot. Starting to discolor the wax a bit. I'm just using this stick to kind of stir it and help it melt. I really should be wearing safety gloves, to be honest, but I just kind of did this on the fly to make some samples for my friends at work. So yeah, it's gonna take a little while to melt. Let me come back to you once it is done. So this is kind of like the final product. I do have a little bit of extra wax left over that I put into a candle mold. I'm gonna test it real fast before I give my friends the final product to test. I think it might need a little bit more fragrance, so once I test that, we'll find out, and then um, I'll know what to do. So with the help of my lovely assistant, we're going to re-pour the wax back in.
Who's a lovely assistant?
I did. You're my lovely assistant.
Dumbass.
So we're gonna pour the wax back in and re-melt it to add more fragrance oil because I clearly didn't add enough. We're just scraping out the sides to get everything in there because it kind of hardened on the sides. I also scrubbed it in because I noticed some burnt wax on it and it kind of looked gross, but it's not that bad. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and then once this is melted, I will re-pour the mold and hopefully it will come out better this time.
Do you want scoopies?
So it's gonna take a little while for this to melt. Even though it's at the right temperature, it's just kind of solid. It's gonna be a lot faster than yesterday. I preheated the water this time. I do have to make sure that I'm making sure it melts slow so it doesn't burn off a lot of the fragrance oil that I added yesterday because it wasn't enough. I am also probably gonna add a little bit more dye because the dye is gonna come off as I melt this back down. So I added a little bit more color to the wax, and I also re-poured the fragrance oil, so hopefully this one's a little bit better. Surprisingly, there's a lot of wax left over, which is weird because there shouldn't be. So I'm gonna let this cool for a little bit and see if it shrinks down a bit, and I'll fill up any of the mold that looks like it might need a little bit more. So I'm gonna leave that in the double broiler for now to kind of keep it warm, and then once it shrinks down I will refill it, and then they will be complete hopefully, and I'll have my coworkers test these and tell me how they are. I may need to look into a different type of fragrance oil. Apparently beeswax is a little bit harder to fragrance. It has like a nice sweet smell to it usually, but at the same time it's difficult just because it traps so much that smell inside of it. I am going to be looking at Bulk Apothecary, which is a website that sells wax, soap making materials in bulk. And I'm going to buy some more beeswax because I'm actually out at the moment. I could borrow some of my girlfriend's, but I'd rather not take from her supply since she uses that for medical grade stuff while I'm just using mine for candles. So yeah, that's going to be a little while for cool.